That is exactly what your name is. So, good morning, guys. We are live from Houston, Texas, at the Lone Star Museum of Flight Museum. I keep getting messed up because we've been at so many other museums, but man, yesterday was absolutely amazing. Josh Hernandez and the Sparrow Hawk team just made everybody feel welcome, and it was incredible. I mean, 29 students.
Yeah, 29 students whose planes look absolutely fantastic, and the museum and the staff and everybody have been just unbelievable. I mean,
Jerry Scott
we have access to stuff we probably shouldn't, and we're seeing some just unbelievable, unique pieces of history. Really, I mean, that's what we're working on here is historical, priceless artifacts. And so you guys have been involved in a lot of these.
And that was one of where I wanted to start from. So last spring, I had the opportunity. Rod, unfortunately, wasn't able to join me to head out to you guys' place for Falcon 1. And, dude, I just was so impressed with the way that you guys managed that event. It was the first aviation detailing event where I felt like I was learning how to detail a plane, right? Instead of just a museum piece, an actual flying plane, which was really cool because that Falcon 1 flies in, flies out, and you guys were able to really take it off. So I want to talk about, how did you guys get started in aviation and, and building up to that event?
3 years ago, we attended a training about 3 years ago. And these training events, I'm sure you can attest to it, you get around a bunch of like-minded people that are passionate about the same thing you are. And when I go home, I'm on fire. And that was my first time in a big environment of an airplane hangar. And just the light.
Yeah.
Just watching jets take off while you're working and stuff. It was inspiring.
Yeah.
It was through.
So we came back home and we had been talking with somebody that had a Lexus SUV, wanted us to detail it, and he happened to be one of the head. I'm not sure what his position was, but one of the head technicians of Associated Aircraft Group. And they had a hangar about this size, a little bit bigger, full of this. Well, you can't see it on the camera, but these Sikorsky S-76 helicopters. And he kind of helped walk us through what he wanted done. I've made things shiny for 33 years.
Yeah.
But like we're all learning in these trainings, you got to know what to touch, what not to touch, what to touch it with, what kind of chemicals you can. There's a lot of differences between vehicles, boats, and aircraft.
Yeah.
You can kill people. So
our first training was through IGL Coatings aviation training.
Yeah.
So that was a segue into the aviation detailing realm.
So fast forward 8 months later, right? Is that what it is? Because we're at least to this event, right?
Yes.
So now you guys are coming on board the Sparrow Hawk franchise.
Yes.
So I mean that's really exciting because Josh is doing some amazing things. Not only is he building a franchise, but they're creating the ADA, which is really tapping into something needed specifically for the aviation, right?
Yeah, because a lot of times we'll hear, she sees it all the time on a lot of the detailing social media groups. There's someone just, hey, I got this guy that wants me to do a Cessna. What should I do first? And, she'll say, oh, God, there's another one. Get insurance. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't touch it unless you've been to, you're trained, you're certified, you're insured. You have no business touching aircraft.
Yeah, and I think that was really kind of an eye-opener in the classroom setting yesterday. The elevated amount of insurance that's needed. I mean, that's great. You're working on a McLaren. You got, it's a couple $100,000. Yay. Okay. This is probably estimated at multiple millions of dollars. And so you got to put that in perspective. There's a couple more zeros on the end of that. And there's a lot more risk because of the fact that there's small little holes and inlets and sensors and things. as opposed to a car where, you basically, I mean, I don't try to diminish cars, but basically don't blast the pressure washer into the engine, and there's a little bit more, you have to have a lot more care to it, right? So Josh is fanatical about it. I love his background.
Scout's honor.
Yeah, no,
I
I love his background on it because he was an aviation mechanic, and so he really gets that piece of it. So, do you guys just have a passion for aviation, or were you involved in it before, or how did you just?
Neither one of us.
Just
were
that's the
involved
path,
in it.
huh?
We enjoy the atmosphere of being in a facility, a hangar. It's very calming and relaxing to us. It's just a step above, being in a car shop. Way many steps above. It's just a really neat environment to be in, and we enjoy it.
Yeah, and we've been in a lot of different museums with the RoadFS podcast and with our software and everything. And this one's a really exceptional museum. So if you're into going to museums and you're in the Houston area, this is a fantastic. The Lone Star Flight Museum is beautiful facility, and it's I don't know, it just has a different feel. It does have a different feel.
What they say, they have like 15,000 students come through here every
year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The students they brought in, there was a bunch of kids yesterday. That was really cool, and I think that's part of the key to it is getting younger folks involved in it, and bringing them out and doing stuff to where they can actually get their eyes on these things.
So let's talk about that, because about what you just said. You come into this space and it's quiet, it's protected. I mean, we're sitting in aviation, literally history, right? But you guys are working at FBOs, fixed base operations. There's a different level. I can't just drive out with my mobile van and start detailing. And I think a lot of detailers miss that. Talk about that a little bit, because I think that's important. Not only the insurance, but that's a piece people don't even realize.
You can't even get in the gate. It's a secure area for the most part. So lots of times if we have a job, well, you can talk about that. You have to go see Maura.
Yeah, when we were we have a county airport that's a half a mile from our shop where the Falcon 1 project took place. And when we were in there with Associated Aircraft Group, we had gate passes, building passes. We were able to go in any time. They moved to Connecticut, and here's my gate pass, handed in.
Yeah, we didn't want to give that back. We could
like,
literally go in, open and close the place all by ourselves.
Yeah.
But now, like when we have a job in there, I get together with the lady that handles all of that at the county, and I'm like, hey, we got a job. Okay, no problem. Here's your pass. And we're always respectful of, when we're going. This is, we're going to go in now. It's taking us a little bit longer. There's a big thing with, you just have to be respectful. You're conscientious. We go in the gate, and I impress this a lot on the Falcon 1 project. There's few passes, but if you're coming in, make sure, you stop and you make sure that gate closes behind you.
Yeah.
That's just secure.
Because we've had that.
Yeah.
People start creeping behind, and you don't know people these days. So
It's
a different. You have to keep a different frame of mind.
I think that
it's the security aspects.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of respect and reverence I'll use, because people ask me, like I've had 2 or 3 people ask me this weekend. They're like, "Why are you okay? You're really quiet this weekend. You're really subdued." And because I'm usually the idiot, but the reason why is this is that kind of an environment. You have to give it some kind of respect and reverence, because you're not in an environment where you're going to be running around and being crazy. And this is a different setup. It's more of a professional setup. And I can't impress upon people when they ask, or when we get questions about, well, should I go into this kind of thing? It's like, you're going to have to assess that for yourself. Are you the type of person that can do that? I mean, Josh's example yesterday, you're going to have to pull your pants up. I don't care what your fashion sense is, but you're not going to have your, your butt crack hanging out, and you're going to look professional when you go in. So, because it's dealing with a different level of stuff, and I separate that out from just aviation from museum pieces. I love doing museum pieces because the perfection gets to go out the window, and it's more about preservation. But I think aviation is very similar to that, in the sense that these are flying. You know, we were looking at this Continental Airlines, which I panned to a minute ago, and somebody was asking yesterday, well, how would you ceramic coat the roof? And I said, you wouldn't. Nobody's ever going to be up there. Don't waste your time and their money. You wouldn't do it. So you guys work on a lot of private planes as well. So what is
private right now?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously I know the main difference is years of production, but what is the biggest difference when you're working on somebody's private plane versus something like this?
You're dealing with the owner. You know, a lot of times, to be honest, we haven't met the owners. We have gotten a lot of business from our mechanic shop within the airport. They call us. They say, hey, normally we usually do the details. We're too busy. We'd like you guys to do it. That was a hard thing for me to just let go of, not meeting people. You know, but for the most part, we have met the owners of the aircraft. With the franchise, we're looking to get into the corporate side,
Okay.
That's where your money is,
Yeah.
to be honest, is
Yeah.
into corporate. And without Sparrow Hawk, to kind of segue into that, without Sparrow Hawk, we wouldn't be able to get into the corporate side of aviation. You need the proper credentials and backing and things that go along with the growing national franchise.
And the products. That's one of the things that I couldn't impress upon people even more is automotive products don't work on planes. I've got an example myself of working on a plane in a museum where we sprayed some stuff on a luckily it's a museum piece, and they were not using an aviation quality paint on the restoration because they were just trying to make it look good. So we sprayed a product on there that was not aviation certified, and it crinkled the paint and almost wiped it completely off the plane. So luckily it came back after it kind of off-gassed and everything. But you know, that's another thing, is this is not, you don't use automotive products. You're not going to pressure wash down the side of it. You're not going to, I mean, there's a totally different mindset. And so I biggest thing I would say is I impress upon people is go to an aviation training by somebody that is certified and understands aviation and how you do it. You certainly wouldn't go learn how to, you know, give birth to a baby from your, you know, the guy at Albert's and their YouTube. So, you know,
buns in the oven, baby.
That's right. It's a little bit different of a bun there. You don't 350 for 4 hours. So you're going to go to an aviation specialist just like you would on anything else. You know, don't learn how to work on a Ferrari from a guy that works on Volkswagen. So.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I mean, it's been so fun to, meet you guys back in the spring, but then kind of get to know you and become friends and associates. But it's been fun to watch you make these transitions.
We're so excited.
I mean,
we are so excited.
It was a natural
one. Can't see all the stress.
You know what? You guys hide the stress really well.
But I think that's of all the people. I mean, we see a lot of people making changes in the industry and doing good for themselves. But this was a real natural one. We saw your post the other day, and you're like, "Oh, it's Sparrow Hawk." I was like, "Oh yeah, that totally makes sense." That seems like it was just a. We sat
on it for quite a few months, and what's the right thing? What's the best thing for our business? And we kind of, I guess, realized that we weren't going to continue to be able to continue into aviation without the backing of a national franchise, the way things were headed with the insurance industry.
And the way it happened too was we were bringing, you guys remember Michael from Norway?
Yeah.
We were bringing him back to JFK to head home, and for some reason his phone wouldn't be able, he wanted to talk to Josh about something unrelated, and he was on Tracy's phone, and he was on speaker the whole way, and we were getting about 3-4 miles from dropping him off, and Josh just was saying in the background, yeah, you know, I'd really like to talk to Tracy and Glenn, but I want it to kind of happen organically. And we're like, hi, Josh.
Hey, we're right here.
And we literally talked to him the entire way
That's
home.
awesome.
And we realized it was a network of what he had in mind was, you know, setting fireworks off in my brain, and led to this point here. So,
that's awesome. Well, and it's super excited for you guys.
This is fantastic. Awesome. We love being involved in when the industry makes positive changes and positive people, and the attitude of this event has been fantastic. Yes, you should have come. You know,
Great,
what are you
Tracy.
thinking? You know, you should next time just buck up and go. You know?
Yeah, and yesterday it was amazing to sit over here and watch. I mean, you were bouncing around helping people. Josh was, and to see the the buzz of people all working on these two planes. I mean, to have 40 people either on the plane or coaching, teaching was amazing. I mean, you guys hit it out of the park.
Yeah,
Nothing got broken.
And that's important, right? Because we talked about it. I mean, some of these parts on the bottom of a plane, $6,000 just to replace. I mean, it's a different level of a bump. So,
oh yeah, especially on one of these. I mean,
Yeah.
these are you can't just call up, you know, your Shucks Auto Parts and be like, hey, I'm working on this 1932, you know, canvas
that's
biplane, and so anyway.
Well, cool. Well, we need to get back into the shop. So Josh has a full day planned for us. We wanted to pull the Urfers aside because, man, we've just been so excited to watch their journey this year, to get to know you guys. Excited for the Sparrow Hawk Detailing. Josh, as you guys pointed out, has a huge vision. The Aviation Detailing Association will be coming on board 2024. So you'll want to make sure that you're involved in that. So if
and
you're
one other
interested
thing
in aviation, you got to get connected with Sparrow Hawk Detailing. Tracy and Glenn are glad to help you. Josh Hernandez, there's an incredible team here, and it's just a great opportunity. And you were going to say,
I was going to say, and you might want to check out some RoadFS software in 2024 for some things coming for the aviation industry as well.
Which we already have.
We have
all
some
but
other
5%.
things. We have some other things coming.
Yeah, it's
so
cool. Rod and
keep your eye on that.
Like Rod and I have said, our developers hate it when we go on one of these trips, because we always come back with enhancements that are going to come your way. They're like, all right, when do you want it? Well, yesterday. But that's all good. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tapping in. Thank you guys for joining in, and we will see you. That was super.